What's up, everybody?
Don't laugh.
Oh man. What's up, everybody? Trevor and Brandon here from Adventure Ready. We're just wanted to do like a quick little intro on this week's video because it's sort of the same thing that we've been doing a little bit, but we didn't have. What the heck? He just gets a stick out of nowhere. We didn't have like a super set schedule with this video. We decided to kind of just like roll into the weekend and see what happens, which sort of worked out. Cars and Coffee Charlotte was pretty cool. You guys will see all this stuff in the video. A lot of up close shots of some really expensive cars. Did a couple restaurant clips. We went and stopped at a Mexican restaurant in Pineville, a Mellow Mushroom in, where was that? Valentine? Yep. 521. It's just south of Charlotte. Didn't do much drone footage. You'll notice that there's not a lot of drone footage in this, and here's the reason why. So we went to the new Cars and Coffee location, and turns out that you can't fly a drone in that area. And you know why? Because it's like a mile from the airport. So
Cars and Coffee, the location is really good, but if you want somebody to do a drone footage, you gotta pick a location where we can fly a drone.
Yeah, so no drone footage for Cars and Coffee, and unfortunately, unless they move locations, it's not gonna happen. all the geese are being loud. But
you still get good footage with the GoPro at Cars and Coffee.
Yeah, we got a lot of up close shots of the nice cars. What else? Brandon was a little late to Cars and Coffee, but we made it work.
You'll see that in the video probably.
So we're, if nobody can tell or doesn't go to this neighborhood, we're in Brandon Oaks neighborhood at the main park where the playground is back here. And we just decided to pull over on the side of the road over there and do this little intro over here, which I think it works.
We use it. And well, last night he came over to my house and we played the Resident Evil 7.
Yep. And
we started to work on downloading some stuff for the footage, but he left it at my house.
I left my drone there. I was gonna take drone footage today, but you know what? This video is gonna be focused more on the GoPro usage, so we definitely use the GoPro a lot this time.
So what are we gonna do next footage? We're gonna just use nothing but
no, but we'll incorporate more drone stuff with wherever we go.
Okay.
But I guess that's gonna be our little outro to our intro, and then on to next week. See you guys in the next one.
Supposed to be up at like 6:55 at least, 7 at the latest. Nope. Woke up at 7:40 and 7:43 to be exact, and I'm supposed to be meeting up with Trevor and Brian at Exxon to go to Cars and Coffee. Well, I guess it's time to wake up, go get a Monster, and make sure they're gone from Exxon, and if they are, meet them at Cars and Coffee, or go meet them at Exxon because they're probably not waiting for me. Let's go start fire up the car. The beast.
Dude, let me tell you something, okay? So Brandon decided to wake up late, okay? We met up at the Exxon when we were supposed to. Where was Brandon? Where was you at?
I already told him.
we had something interesting pop up. We've got a 1978 Lincoln Continental over here, and the owner wants to talk to us about the car. This thing is in pristine condition. I'm Trevor, by the way.
I'm David.
David, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. It's a 1978 Lincoln Mark V with a little bit over 9,700 original miles. I purchased the car with about 8,300 original miles on it. And
where did you purchase it from?
From a collector in Delaware.
Okay, so it came a good ways.
Yeah, he had about 15 of these, and he was just ready to give up one, and this is the one that we agreed on. It's got the 464 barrel engine in it, automatic transmission, that's how they came. It's optioned pretty well with the sunroof, power everything. And it runs great. Just had to do some basic maintenance to it. You know, change the oil, plugs, wires, have the radiator redone, and that's it.
Now you did mention too, I asked him about the car been sitting for a while. Obviously it's got low miles. So I asked him how did the engine do as far as sitting to running after this many years. He said he hasn't had any leaks. But he said he had to do a radiator change and, you know, fluid changes, stuff like that. This thing's cool. This thing's interesting. I guess a bunch of people are going to ask this too. What type of gas mileage does this car get?
Well, generally we try to rate it in gallons to the mile, but
gallons?
it's actually not that bad. On the highway, it'll get cruising at a decent clip. It'll probably get about 14 miles to the gallon.
That's actually
which
not
isn't
that
bad.
Yeah.
But when you're in town, it's really bad. It's like 8 miles to the gallon.
Oh yeah.
Just, you know, it's got a lot of metal to move. We have, you know, an Expedition at home, and this weighs more than the Expedition.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Do you know how much this car weighs?
I think it weighs around 5,200, something like that. 48 to 52, depending on options and wet or dry. You would think that they would have lightened them up, but they have so many more security, safety features that add weight to the newer vehicles.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know? Although this one is all metal, I don't think anybody would want to get into an accident
no, this thing's
with
a
this.
tank.
I bought this because when I was a kid, my father bought a 1974, maybe, Pinto during the gas crisis.
Oh yeah.
And in 1978, after the gas crisis was kind of over, we went to a Lincoln dealer and we traded the Pinto, which couldn't even get up the hill that we lived on without a rolling start. We traded it for the Lincoln. I can still close my eyes and remember my dad and me driving home from the dealership and him just saying, "It's like we're on a cloud. It's like we're on a cloud, driving a cloud."
Oh yeah.
So it's also, I like the cars, but it's also nostalgic for me. Helps me remember my dad and stuff. This is actually a factory option. They all didn't come with this. This rough area here is actually for weather protection because the car was purchased as a northeast, you know, in bad climates. So that's for rock chips and other stuff like that.
Okay.
They didn't rate these trunks by cubic feet back then. They rated them by the amount of dead bodies you could fit in there.
I've heard that.
Yeah, it was about 2.5. A lot of gangsters like these cars. Original spare. It came with the car in 1978. So if I got a flat, I'd probably call AAA. I don't think I was gonna use that.
Well, we really appreciate you taking the time to tell us about the car. I mean, again, like I was saying, everybody buys all these new cars. We know what all this new stuff is, but a lot of people growing up before me, this was what they drove. Right. So we really appreciate you taking the time to tell us.
Oh, my pleasure. It's nice to speak to somebody about it.
Thanks so much.
Hey Adam.
What do you say, Brandon? Good to see you.
Good seeing you too, bud. So I see you bought the GT350R today.
I did, yeah. We decided to bring this one out. It's new. Just got this one about 30 days ago, so chose to take it out and put some miles on it instead of one of the Vipers. Although the blue Viper needs a few miles on it as well. Just starting to really enjoy it and feel it out. It's a very different car than anything I've ever driven. I really enjoy it. Never thought I'd like a Mustang, but absolutely in love with this car already.
So what's very different about the other cars that you've drove?
Well, hold on. So, quick thing. Adam is a good friend of ours. I've always seen him in a Mopar.
Yep.
Between the Jeep SRT8 and the Viper SRT10.
Yes.
Which a heavily built Viper, by the way.
Yes. Yeah.
So what made you go, I guess, to branch out to a Mustang?
So that's a good question. So back in 2015, when they started talking about they were going to build on the S550 platform of Mustang, which I've never really been a Ford Mustang guy, but Jamal Habib, or I can't remember his last name, but the head engineer for Ford Performance at the time was talking about this track-focused version of the 350 that they were going to come back to kind of throw back to Carroll Shelby's 1967 and so 350 and 350R. So that piqued my interest. Then there was rumors about carbon fiber wheels and all these different special things and a flat plane crank motor, which never been done in a Mustang before, let alone anything that costs less than basically $200,000 or so. So that really did it for me. And then sure enough, it came out. It started performing phenomenally around racetracks. Couldn't believe it. A Mustang that was, you could actually not take out crowds if you were careful enough. Had more of a linear power band, so it wasn't like the GT500 strength is its power and straight line power. This is not that type of vehicle. It's made to corner. I love the MagneRide suspension setup. Obviously the carbon fiber wheels. Just a lot about the car was really attractive, and the price point wasn't bad. Typically, to get into something that's a production model that has carbon fiber wheels, you're talking about spending a huge amount.
So these wheels are actually carbon
These
fiber?
are full carbon fiber wheels. From the factory, they're 100% carbon fiber. All they do is they paint over them. All right. So the GT500 that is going to come out, they've gone back and they're going to expose carbon fiber. So they'll have exposed carbon fiber wheels. These on the 350Rs, they paint them, and then they go ahead and they swain coat the backs of them, because they have these enormous two-piece 15.5-inch rotors and the big 6-piston Brembos. They generate a lot of heat, even though there's specific air ducting to help with it. Because these are carbon fiber, they went ahead and they swain coated. If you know anything about that, heat coating, they typically do that on headers and things like that. They've coated the back side of the spokes and the interior of the front wheels. They don't do it on the back because you have a smaller rotor, but the fronts get it because the rotor is so large it gets close to the edge and generates a lot of heat. But these are 100% carbon fiber. The wheels, to replace them, are the one bad thing, and Ford would not give me a warranty on the wheels. I asked for that. I told them I'm willing to pay extra for it, but they won't do it because the wheels are about 20 grand, 16,000 to replace. They're 100% carbon fiber.
How do you like that price tag?
That's expensive.
Especially for a Mustang, yeah. But I don't really consider this in the same class. It's not in the same class as a GT or anything like that. This car is actually faster around Laguna Seca and some other tracks around the country than a Porsche GT3. This is faster than a Porsche GT3. It's faster than the Acura NSX that you guys saw down there. It's faster than the R8 V10, not the V10 Plus, but the V10. It's faster than a Ferrari 458 Italia. That's incredible. Yeah. From a few years ago, Mustangs only thought about to go in a straight line, do burnouts, or crash, if you try to go around turns. It really couldn't do those things. But now it really can. The Michelin worked with Ford Performance on the tires. These Sport Cup 2 tires, they aren't, remember, this car is brand new. It only has 150 miles on it, but look at the tires. They're shaved from the factory. So you're only going to get about 3,000 miles out of it. So if you're looking to purchase one of these, keep that in mind. These tires, you're talking about $2,000 to replace them, and you're probably going to need to replace them often if you track the car, which this car will be tracked. But the compound on these tires are designed specifically for the 350R. So it's recommended to keep those types of tires on it if you're going to road course the car, which I intend to do. But yeah, that's really the fact that they put so much work into the engineering. The car was designed in a wind tunnel, so all the aero and everything was designed in a wind tunnel. They actually built a scale model of the car, and they worked with the aero for the 350R in a wind tunnel. So it's a lot more than just body lines to look good. It's all functional, including the belly pans underneath. With my Viper, the belly pans are straight, right? Direct airflow just to the back of the vehicle, and then up and out through the diffuser. This has ductwork in the belly pans to direct air for coolers. So you have an oil cooler, transmission cooler up front, and then down here you have a diff cooler. And in addition to it, they're ducting in the belly pans direct air to keep the car down, so create negative pressure for downforce, and then also direct air to the differential to keep it cool while you're on track at high RPMs, because the motor, the flat plane crank, revs to 80, 250 RPM. It's a noisy motor with a lot of harmonics, and obviously you're going to generate a lot of heat and stuff like that on the drivetrain. So they've dealt with that with a lot of cooling, which again, gosh, for a Mustang, so that's all of that is really what drove me to really pursue this car. I was looking at this or an Audi R8 V10. Again, not V10 Plus, V10. I'd love to have a V10 Plus, but that's a little out of my price range. And to be quite honest, you know, I'm happy that I chose this vehicle. Very limited production. This one is chassis 496 out of 623 that they built, it looks like, in 2018. As far as I know, they haven't officially released the numbers, but it's 600 and something. So pretty, not bad. Got less than 1,000 of these on the road for 2018. So I'll take it.
So we just heard the exhaust on the sound clip.
Yeah.
So tell us about the exhaust.
Sure. So the exhaust on the R, so this is one of the differences than the 350, other than the carbon fiber wheels, the suspension, and a few other things. They share the same MagneRide shocks, but there's the tuning on the chassis and the suspension is different on the R. One of the big differences is the sound, right? And that's because other than the active valves, they have no resonators. So it's a resonator delete on the R. And from the factory, both the 350s and the R come with unequal length headers from the factory instead of just like regular manifolds. They're tubular headers from the factory, which is kind of that's a cool feature. It's all built for higher end power, but the reason why you get that kind of raspy, it should sound more like a Ferrari, right? It's a flat plane crank motor, it's a V8, high rev, should sound more like a Ferrari, and it would, except because of space issues under the hood, they had to go to unequal length headers, and that completely changed the exhaust note of the, it completely changed the exhaust note of the car. So it gave it this kind of unique sound, which honestly I love. It's totally different than really anything you hear, and it's stock. I'm not going to change it.
That's freaking amazing.
I like it. When the louder exhaust is coming in, because I wasn't expecting it. It's a big difference from the quiet mode, like that.
Well, guys, that concludes a little Cars and Coffee clips. I guess we got to get on with our weekend. What the heck are we going to do this weekend, Brandon?
I don't know, man.
Dude, we got a nice day.
It's nice.
I don't even know. We're going to figure out something.
I am thinking of some kind of drink, so either at a gas station, bro, or go somewhere to get some food and drink.
Food sounds freaking awesome.